welcome to the first 2026 edition of the Bad Poker Podcast. I'm Chris Bean, and once again, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Dom Clemenson.
Hello! Good
So-
to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've had family illnesses, family crises, all kinds of things going on the last few weeks. But now, hopefully, we're back in the saddle and get some regular content out to you guys. Dom, what was your Christmas like?
Well, as you've already alluded to, it was kind of fairly illness-ridden. But no, it was great. Got to see the whole family, all got together, had a good few days, and then sort of spent the next 10 days under duvets coughing. But it was great to catch up with everyone. And I'm one of those people that loves Christmas, so it's always, time of year I look forward to. How about you?
Yeah, it was a good one. Nice and quiet. My wife was working shifts over on Boxing Day and on New Year's, so those were quieter times than usual. But yeah, kids enjoyed themselves and still just play with tablets rather than the new stuff that I just got. So,
Yes, yeah.
and if I hear 6-7 once more, I will be throwing.
Well, it hadn't occurred to me until about 2 weeks ago, but we actually live at number 67. So, yeah, we'll be getting a lot of that over Christmas, but yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, we were planning to do like a review of 2025, so we'll squeeze that into this week's episode, but we're only 2 weeks into the new year, and already the poker world is falling apart by the looks of it.
It's ridiculous. It's been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, last year, I think it took a while for kind of the poker news world to get going. And I think the Nacho thing was probably the first big story. And that was like the end of February, I think. But this year, it's just come crashing in from literally almost January the 1st.
Yeah, so we'll kick things off with the breaking news that Ren Lin has signed for WT Global, but which has forced the chip race to resign from their positions as WT Global's ambassadors. So the chip race is no longer sponsored by WPT Global. Firstly, what do you make of Ren Lin joining the ranks of WPT?
I mean, how long have you got? Honestly, it just the mind boggles. I must have, when I first saw it on Twitter yesterday, I actually thought it was a joke because when I first logged in, the first thing I saw was Thomas Keeling's post that WPT had got Mike Postle as their new ambassador, which was clearly a joke, and it was very funny. But at the time, I hadn't heard of the previous news. So when, like 10 minutes later, I was scrolling through and I saw Ren Lin was the ambassador, my immediate assumption was, oh, right, that's another good joke, And it wasn't until I scrolled a bit further down and saw people commenting on it, I actually had to go and Google it and saw that there was a Poker News article or Poker Org article about it. I thought, holy fuck, they can't be that stupid, surely, but apparently they are.
I'm just waiting for Howard Leder and Chris Ferguson to join in the next couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to sign up Cthulhu. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's very reminiscent of maybe 4 or 5 years ago when GG signed Dan Bilzerian. And it's very much that kind of attitude of no publicity is bad publicity. I mean, it's, they know what they're doing. It's obviously a very deliberate ploy by them, but I'm not really sure what it's supposed to achieve.
Yeah, I'm baffled by the decision, and within 24 hours, we've seen the resignation from Dara and David from the chip race. A very rare sign of integrity and consciousness from the poker community. Obviously, our hearts go out to them guys who've lost their sponsor for their show. But are you shocked that they've made that decision?
Oh no, not really, not at all. I was looking forward to hearing what they were going to say on their chip race episode, and I mean, they may well still do that. I don't know what their plans are. I don't think they've announced anything, and obviously they don't have a sponsor at the moment, but they might still put out content. But it would be very interesting to see what they have to say about it. But no, and props to them. because, as you say, it's quite rare these days to find people in the industry whose integrity overrides their need to make money. Ren Lin being the perfect example. I mean, this is something that struck me. Obviously, WPT have come in for a lot of flack over the last 24 hours, and rightly so. But I haven't seen much in the way of criticism of Ren Lin, and to me, that's the story. I cannot believe he's done this. I mean, he got off pretty much scot-free from the scandal last year. He was given a quote unquote indefinite ban. An indefinite, always used to mean sort of until further notice, but apparently it means 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
And you would have thought that having kind of got away with that, and also had quite a lot of goodwill sent his way from the poker community at large. I mean, a lot of people, kind of myself included, really, sort of, they criticised him for it, but sort of, I think, allowed him to get away with it because he is seen as such a nice guy. And he's shat all over that now. I mean, this is kind of like a real big fuck you to the poker community and people that have stood behind him. And I think it's a terrible move by him. It's not going to do his reputation any good whatsoever.
Well, I can't blame him for signing on. It's if he was offered a contract. Well, what is WPT Global thinking?
Well, I don't think they care. I think, like I said, going back to the Bilzerian thing, I think it's that there's this sense of all publicity is good publicity. Their name is getting, bandied around left, right, and centre, and poker Twitter, and I think that's all they care about. But I think Ren Lin is damaging his reputation, and he did have a lot of good, despite what happened last year, had a lot of goodwill. But I think that's going to disappear very quickly. And the other thing is as well, I don't know what the going rate is for a headline ambassador these days, but I doubt it's as much as it was 10 years ago. And when you consider the stakes he plays, I can't really see it's going to make a great difference to his bottom line. I don't really see what the upside in it is for him.
Well, I think the upside's all in WT Global. It's just like you're bringing the Chinese followers and like players from that like area of the world, because he made huge numbers in GG Poker.
That's true. I'm looking at it from a very Europe-centric point of view, obviously, but the whole thing seems just completely bonkers to me.
But speaking of integrity, are you drawing dead on the flop? Well, have no fear. Blue Chew is here. Just use code BADPOKER to become a stud in the bedroom with some extra juice. Never be limp again, after you'll be angle shooting all night with multiple bullets, and if you get lucky, you might get into the back door and get a suck out. Hell, you could embrace the pineapple lifestyle and have a full house. You'll have a struggle and always be in position with Blue Chew. Not a real sponsor.
I wish you'd warned me. Oh dear, that's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, we are available for children's parties, bar mitzvahs, the usual. I did write some notes down here about the whole Ren Lin thing. Where are we? I can't find it now, but I think I've more or less said what I wanted to. I know what I was going to say. I don't worry for Dara and David, because I'm sure they're more than capable of looking after themselves. But obviously they lost Unibet as their sponsor last year. They've now lost WPT Global, and I made a somewhat flippant comment on X earlier, sort of saying, I'm sure you'll get lots of offers, GG Poker, ACR. Oh, hang on. But there is a slightly serious point behind that. There aren't that many trustworthy, reliable operators, for people such as them who do value their integrity. The number of places they can go to now is kind of narrowing. I think if Polymarket were running a book on it, which they probably are, they run a book on everything else. But I think my money might be on Party. That seems to me the logical place for them to go. Barry's there already.
It's just that they got the budget to pay them, I think.
Well, that's it. I mean, their brand is so big, it probably is more of a benefit to to the operator than it is to them at the moment. But as you know, I certainly don't have to tell you, it's very hard to make money doing a poker podcast. And whilst money obviously isn't everything to them, you know, your time is worth something. And I just hope, whatever happens going forward for them, the chip race continues, because it's been the best poker podcast for over a decade now, and it would be a shame to lose it.
Going on in the news now, an interesting thing happened at the World Series of Poker Circuit Calgary. In the mixed game of No Limit Hold'em and Omaha, we got down to the final two, and the two players decided to make a deal. First place took all the money, second place took nothing. Was this just a winner's takes all, or was it just a massive tax dodge now?
Do you know what? I hadn't even considered the sort of tax implications. And obviously, well, maybe we'll cover it sometime in the future, but that is a huge thing over in America right now. But yeah, pretty much every story that's broke this year has just left me bewildered, and this is another one. I don't really see what, I mean, it's classic DGen behaviour, I guess, but I don't really see what was in it for them. What was up top? You know?
I mean, it was a side event. I think there was like $52,000 left to pay out, I believe.
Right. Well, even so, it's not chump change, is it? I mean, I don't really get what was in it. If you spent all that time battling through a field to get heads up, and then just throw away your percentage in the tournament, it just seems like complete madness to me. And there is the other thing, of course, that WSOP apparently doesn't allow deals. So how this one's been allowed to get through when there was so much hoo-ha last year over the World Series, you know, the WPT £1 million thing. It's not just double standards, it's triple and quadruple standards, and it just there's just no logical through line to any of it. And as I say, just bafflement is my main emotion.
So I won't dwell on that one for too much longer, but PokerStars, last year they got rid of Barney Boatman and Finton Hand as the sponsored pros, and the cult keeps on going. They've recently dropped Lex Veldhaus and Caitlin Kamensky. I mean, these, like, especially Lex Veldhaus is probably one of the biggest names that was left. Like, are you shocked by this? Like, I thought I was running out of money.
Well, yeah, no, I was quite shocked by it, actually. I don't know what the reasoning is. PokerStars running out of money is one possibility. Their star has obviously kind of fallen somewhat over the last 5 or 6 years. Lex had been, I don't know, 17 years, was it? It was a long time
It's been a fair long time, yeah.
And he'll obviously have had other offers or will be considering his options. You wouldn't be surprised if he turned up at GG or WPT or, you know, one of the other usual suspects.
Well, he has actually been playing online at GG, and the first day he ever played there, he won the tournament.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah. In a way, it's not surprising. I mean, these ambassador deals very rarely last 17. Well, that's the only one I can think of. I mean, if they last 3 or 4 years, I think it's generally seen as a pretty good run. So for him to have been there that long, in a way, I think the Caitlin one is slightly more surprising, because Lex, as big as he is and as much of a draw as he is a player from 15 odd years ago. Caitlin's very much up and coming, of that kind of TikTok generation, bringing women into the game. That in a way seems almost like a stranger decision, and I doubt they were paying her anything like they were paying him either. So that seems like a stranger one for me. And then, of course, going back to what you said originally, Finton left last year, or was dropped. You know, they're very cagey about, you know, it's like when a football manager leaves by mutual consent kind of thing. And that's fair enough. That's fine. That's the way these things are done. But he has joined WPT Global.
Yeah.
Which bearing in mind the news that we've just discussed, he's very interesting. I'd love to hear his thoughts on everything that's been going on, but I imagine he's been fairly quiet.
Yeah, like I had a quick scan of Twitter and I could not see anyone making a comment about it. So I think you'll be keeping this head under the parapet, I think.
Discretion is the better part of valor, and yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
but yeah,
it's bonkers.
Yeah,
the stuff that's gone on.
Yeah, but I'm really shocked by Caitlin because like I think she's been doing some great content like in the comedy world on TikTok and on Instagram. Some of the things that she's been doing is hilarious, and she did a couple of videos with Big Lee, like
oh yeah, fantastic.
They were fantastic. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, maybe it was a case of her leaving them rather than them dropping her. We don't know. And she, there may be very good reasons for her doing that, but the landscape's changing. That's for sure, and I'm not quite sure. I mean, I think the future of online poker is very much in the balance. You've got, RTA and bots and ghosting, and and AI, of course, and they've all been going on for some time, and they all seem to be on the increase. And you've got the sort of atomization of poker economies where, countries are, it's becoming a more and more kind of isolated, each kind of poker ecosystem. So, player pools are diminishing. It's very sad, and I'm not sure there's an answer to it. But I think, when Black Friday happened, people were sort of saying, "Oh, is this the death of online poker?" And it wasn't. But I think we might be looking at it in the not too distant future.
It would be a shame because
it would be a terrible shame. Yeah.
But going from shame to fame, our good friend on the pod, TJ Terence Reid, scooped $3 million at WSOP Paradise in the Super Main Event.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah, I introduced you to TJ at the Irish Open last year, and he's just one of the nicest guys you could meet. Did you watch like any of the footage of the?
Yeah. Well, I'd actually reported on TJ, so I mean I knew of him. I'd never been introduced to him before, but I knew of him. I'd reported on some of his the tournaments he was playing at the World Series 2023, and I believe I'm right in saying that you worked alongside him the year before.
Yeah, I worked with him in 2022, and I think it's one of the first tournaments I worked on. Like I was assigned with him, and it was just a piece of cake to work with him. Like some reporters that you'd be assigned with, like it's a bit of a pain in the ass. We won't mention any names. But
we should mention them and then bleep them out.
Yeah. But yeah, he just I set out a plan. Everyone went fine, and it was probably the easiest thing. I think it was actually when Daniel Wyman won his first bracelet, and like the following year he went on to win the main event. So it's like, but yeah, like I'm absolutely excited for him. Like,
me too. To go from presumably earning something in the region of $12 an hour working for Poker News sort of 3 years ago to binking $3 million. I mean, I'm absolutely over the moon from him. And as you've already touched on, really one of the good guys. I mean, you could not hope to meet a nicer bloke. He's got time for everyone. He's got no kind of airs and graces and no sort of sense of him being big shot. And it seems like he's going to carry on doing his reporting work. I mean, God knows why. He obviously loves the game. Yeah, more power to him. And hopefully, I think we might be able to get him on this little show at some point in the future.
Yeah, he's currently busy in the Poker Go studios at the moment playing some tournaments.
I bet he is.
So, yeah, like he's flexing his newfound wealth. But hopefully when he's got a quiet period, he'll be able to jump on with us and we can talk about his road to the Bahamas.
Well, I imagine he'll be making an appearance at the Irish Open this year. So if we don't see him before, then we'll nab him there.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure we can get him the next couple of weeks or so. But I do know he's got aspirations to go for WSOP Player of the Year, so he might actually be going to Prague
No.
instead. So, like, but
No. Wow.
uh,
God, that'd be a turn up. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. But, yeah, we'll ask him that when we get him.
but speaking of spotty luck in December, I also had a touch of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm just going to leave for 10 minutes while you wank on about your.
yeah, so if you've been following us like for the last few weeks, you've just seen Lee Wiltshire on about I think it's episode 5, who came on and we promoted poker raffles for it. Well, I'm one of the latest winners. Like I managed to bink for a £1 ticket, a £1,500 package of my choice. So looks
I mean,
like
if that doesn't sound like a fix, I don't know what does.
hey, there's 4,600 names in the hat. I was out first, you know. So,
That's incredible. Well,
yeah.
well done. Do you know where you're gonna play?
So
Sheffield?
yeah, I've narrowed it down to a few places, but I'm like 90% certain I'll be going to the party poker at Sheffield. There's all the mixed games there and just low buy-ins,
Of course.
so I'll be able to pretty much fire everything with that prize. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely ecstatic. So hopefully I can get at least 1 million cash to make a nice return on investment.
No, I'm well pleased for you, mate. And like you say, with those buy-ins, you'd only have to think, or like you say, one min cash, and you kind of pay for your week there. So yeah, good luck to you.
Thanks so much, sir. But we also played some poker in December as well, didn't we, Dom? You came up to Stockton.
Yeah, I can't remember all of it.
Yeah, so
no, it was a fantastic night, and hopefully we can do it again next year.
yeah, I mean, so it was the annual Teesside Poker charity poker night in memory of John Law, who sadly died 11 years ago. So this is the 11th event of this tournament, and we raised I think it was £5,762 for remembering Rebecca, and I think that takes us well over £60,000 raised in total over the last 12 years. So, but yeah, fun night. We had the tower on the decks, blasting songs all night.
Didn't we just? I mean, you told me it was going to be loud, and thank Christ I wasn't on the table next to the decks, because how they managed to think, let alone speak to each other, I do not know. But yeah, it's one of those events where there was no kind of build up through the night. It started at 100 decibels and 100 miles an hour, and it kept on going like that till, I mean, I think we left, we both narrowly missed the bubble, and I think we left at about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
About that, yeah. I think I ended up in 6 in the morning.
I was going to say there was still 13 runners left at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic evening, and it raises a lot of money for a very good cause. I'll put a link to the charity in when I stick this on Spotify later in the week. But yeah, it was marvellous. It was a really, really good night. I just wish it wasn't 300 miles away from where I live, but it's only once a year. I think I can manage that.
But yeah, it was won out by Adrian, and we actually spoke to Adrian during the break in the smoking area.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, he was 3 sheets to the wind, and I'm surprised how he managed to stay up.
he was at least 9 sheets to the wind. Yeah. But that probably tells you the state of everyone else at the table as well.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the rebuy period? Because it's a crazy 2 hours where literally everyone's going all in pretty much every single hand. Like, how did you adjust?
Well, I think it's fantastic, and it's obviously done that way for the charity. What I didn't know was that Tower would come round at various points and put in like bomb pots and things like that. So that came as a bit of a surprise. But again, that's fantastic, because all of a sudden you're paying for a 15,000 pot, and then everyone's in, and then there's more rebuys and more money going to charity. And then there's various prizes throughout the night, cases of beer and bottles of wine and things. So that was all very good as well. But actually, once you'd entered into the spirit of it, yeah, it's a very good way of doing it, and it makes the structure in the latter stages of the tournament very good. It was really, really good for a tournament that's ostensibly quite turbo-y, because everyone accumulates so many chips in that first hour and a half. Once the rebuy period is over, you actually get to play some poker. So it wasn't a complete kind of donk fest. It was a very enjoyable night. You know, both from just terms of having a laugh, but also you got to play some proper poker.
And before the tournament started, there was a heads and tails competition, which was won by a lady on my table. It was won by Anita Booty, which I think should be a contender for our World Cup of Names.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I kind of put a hold on that over Christmas, partly because of like the illnesses and whatnot, but also because we don't have a huge audience at the moment, and I want the audience to get involved with it. So we've got down to the last 16, and I think I'm going to, rather than running that now, I'll reboot that later in the spring, maybe as part of our Irish Open coverage, and hopefully we can get a few more people, because those names are so good. They definitely deserve a proper vote.
Absolutely. do a lucky losers record charge. But
Anita Booty.
Yeah,
she's a strong favourite for next year's, that's for sure.
Yeah, she managed to win a £250 ticket for the next series at Grosvenor Stockton. So good luck to her, and I hope she runs it up. So is there anything else from 2025 that you want to quickly recap?
Again, let me have a quick look at my notes. No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it all. Yeah, there was a lot of felt like a lot of end of eras. You know, we had the final GPI awards. We had what we thought was the final chip race and turned out not to be, but we might have had the final chip race now. I think we possibly had the final Poker in the Ears podcast as well. There's no official word on that, I don't think, but it's been a while, and from what I've heard, it's obviously a huge kind of time sink for Stapes and Hartigan, who are clearly in demand all over the place. And so, yeah, it sort of felt like there was a lot of things being tied up, and it'd be interesting to see what happens next. I certainly hope there's another Poker Awards springs up from somewhere, and the GPI over the years came in for a lot of stick, but it was a thankless task that they did, and you obviously can't please all the people all the time, and there will always be arguments about who deserved what, but they kind of shone a light on various aspects of the industry that don't often get the credit they deserve, and I think there was a lot of love for it overall, and it would be a shame if nothing kind of came in to take its place.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come up. I mean,
yeah,
everyone loves to pat each other on the back, don't they? So
yeah. But no, I think that's more or less covered it. We obviously had one of the maddest WSOPs there's ever been. Mizraki being the standout story, but also, you know, you had Sheena Okamoto with her virtual three-peat, you know, going second, first in 3 consecutive years in 1,000-runner fields, which is, you know, in any other year would have been the standout story. But then when someone wins, you know, the PPC and the main event in the same year, it's going to grab the headlines. But
and don't forget Rio Marget's making the final table.
Yeah, that too. I mean, there were so many stories. Benny Glaser winning 3 bracelets in 14 days or whatever it was, and then you had the whole hoo-ha that I mentioned earlier of the kind of the £1 million WPT chop, which wasn't really a story, but became a story because Dean Eggs got his knickers in a twist about it, and then promoted virtually the same promotion, you know, 3 months later down the line. I think the big story about that, which you touched on earlier, is was it Yaganuma and Carroll, I think, were the 2 guys heads up, and they received about, I think, a lifetime ban, which, you know, considering Ren Lin was back and playing within 6 weeks, for them to receive a lifetime ban, again, double standards. It just it's not a good look.
But the bigger these corporations get, I think the more like bullshit we're going to see.
Yeah. That seems to be the way.
Well, anyway, let's look forward to 2026.
Let's. I'm sure it'll be nothing but happiness and rainbows from here on out.
I know you're going to get people complaining on Twitter about pride marches and shit now. Looking forward. So obviously I'll be in Sheffield, so say hi if you're there. Like I'm pretty sure a couple of our friends will be there. Like I'm hoping the Chip Race crew will be there. So hopefully
I won't.
Their thoughts on that.
I won't be able to get to that one, but I'll be following your progress with interest, and hopefully keep us updated.
But probably a big piece of news is that myself and Tom, the beginning of February, will be representing Race for Jack at the APAT Team Championships in Nottingham at Duskull Dawn.
Not on our own.
No. So there'll be a team of 8 of us. So I think we'll get Dave Amos on before we go down there. And,
that'd be nice.
We'll talk about the history of Race for Jack, but just to give an idea of what to expect, because basically it's a 2-day tournament, and if you get into day 2, you start scoring points, and whoever scores the most points wins the money. So, but
I'm very much looking forward to it.
And then hopefully we'll be both at the Irish Open as well. Just waiting for confirmation for some.
Yeah. Haven't been given the official nod yet, but fingers crossed. And even if I'm not working now, I will do everything I can to get out there. But hopefully we'll be working, and we'll be able to knock a few videos together while we're there as well.
Yeah, we're hoping to do some big things at the Irish Open, and but we'll keep you posted. But we'll just keep things under wraps for now.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in 2026 you're looking forward to, Dom?
Well, you've got the continuing resurgence, hopefully, of the Party Poker Tour, which you've already mentioned, the Sheffield leg. They've announced 4 legs, 2 of which are in Spain. Is it Madrid and Seville, I believe?
That's right,
which I think are going to be huge hits. But that only takes us up to June, so presumably there's going to be another 4 or maybe 5 that they will release later in the year. And then, of course, probably the big tournament story of this year is the Aussie Millions coming back after a 6-year hiatus. Outside of the WSOP and possibly the Irish Open, I would say it's probably the most loved tournament in the world, and it's fantastic to again. Chances of me getting there are virtually nil, but we'll be following it very closely, and it's just that's a rare piece of good news for the poker community, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aussie Poker Millions was probably one of the first times that I watched, because it was on the Poker Channel back in the day. That's going back like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the thing with it. It's got that heritage. It's not, it's a name that's been built up over years and years and years, and there's a love for it within the poker community that, as I say, probably only the WSOP and the Irish Open have.
And is that in April? That's on.
Oh, God, it's a good question. It's around then. Yeah. It's not far either side of the Irish Open, because it used to be, didn't it used to be in February, I think, or something? They've moved it slightly for some reason or another, but it's slightly later in the year. Yeah.
Cool. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes on that one. Of course, WSOP will cover closely as well. Although I'm not eager to get back out there at the moment. I don't know about you.
No, and I think this will be an issue this year. I mean, the numbers will still be big, they always are. But I don't need to tell anyone that the situation out in America at the moment is somewhat uncertain.
Icy?
Somewhat icy. Yeah. Very good. And then on top of that, you've got this new tax law. you know, and you've got people like Eric Seidel said that he's basically going to go into semi-retirement, and that's, you know, that's not like Phil Hellmuth saying he's not going to play the main event. When Eric Seidel says stuff, you take it seriously, and if he's been put in a position like that, it's going to affect a lot of people. So I would imagine numbers will be down this year. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I had high hopes of working at WRCP this year and then trying to get out some World Cup matches like as well. But
yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, I'm not sure it's worth it.
It's not worth like going out there.
You'll need to jump through.
Yeah, and also, like, have you seen the ticket prices at the World Cup? It's ridiculous.
God, yeah, insane, absolutely insane. Yeah, you'd have to bink a tournament there to be able to afford to go see a football game.
That's just a group match between Panama and Iran.
Oh, that's if they let the Iranians into America. I hadn't even thought of that before.
Yeah. So we'll be watching with from the sidelines.
Yeah, we live in interesting times, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's about it. But it's just a short episode to show our faces in the new year, and we'll be back to a normal rotation of guests in the next few weeks. Keep your eyes posted on our socials, like and subscribe.
Well, I'm just going to say we're going to be changing things up a bit. We've got I'm going to slightly change the way I do the Spotify thing because it was taking me 35 hours a week to edit, and whilst I loved doing it, I think I can probably spend those hours more productively on doing other stuff. We're going to try and bring a few more videos and a few more kind of sideways glances at the poker world, and put out a bit more content generally. So, but we'll have a few announcements on that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I think the plan is we'll have the main show, which is our flagship. That won't change. But we'll probably like pull out a second episode per week, and it'll be just full of daft shit. So.
Daft shit is kind of that's the kind of thing we're aiming for. Yeah.
So, we'll end it there. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everyone. Ta-da.